I'm sure you've heard the news about TikTok and what's going on with Congress right now. I want your entire take. How you feel about how they treated it, what you think is going to happen, and what you think should happen.
I am not a big fan of governments here or abroad banning anything, okay? Because I think what it does is it pushes young people and less informed and educated people. They feel, well, there must be something cool about this. Let me do it anyway, okay? Listen, I am totally opposed to what Russia's doing to the Ukraine, and this is related. Totally opposed. I think it's ridiculous. I was in the Ukraine, Johnny and John, in the war was last year, December of 21, 2 months before the war.
Wow.
Beautiful. I was in Kyiv, Ukraine on business. I had 3 clients there. I went to board meetings and then, of course, I was there. There was a conference in the CIS region, which is like Belarus, Georgia, Ukraine, that whole region that often gets ignored. Ukraine is a huge country. When we flew in, you could see, because you just kind of creep across a little bit across the border, you could see the military buildup. Now, Putin made a big mistake. Putin should have invaded in the cold, cold winter. He shouldn't have waited until February of last year when the thaw started coming, because the jeeps couldn't make the tanks couldn't make it across the border as quickly and efficiently. Why is this related? Listen, I think China, it's obviously one of the largest nations in the world, second to India. They have a long history. It's a communist government. It's not what we're used to, capitalism and democracy. They don't have a lot of freedoms we have. But I think China is trying a little bit to kind of push Russia back into place, because if this Ukraine thing blows up, it could be a domino effect for NATO, for the rest of Europe. So I'm glad that our government, I don't want to get political here, whoever is the president, we can talk about, but they're very doubling down with Ukraine. I think that's important. It's amazing what the Ukrainian government and Zelensky has accomplished. China's involvement with TikTok, I can't tell you whether it's real or not real. Sure, it's of concern, right? We want to make sure that our data on TikTok isn't getting shared with an enemy. But the CEO last week before Congress did a superb job. I thought he was amazing. And it's a tough thing when you have Democrats and Republicans poking questions at you, trying to answer them. The worst thing our government can do is ban TikTok. That's the worst. Now, if you want to say, listen, we need this information, we want to analyze it, and if you're creeping into stuff that you told us you're not doing, then we're going to slap you. There's 150 million TikTok users in America. You shut them off, there's going to be a massive protest on it. God only knows what it's going to result in, and it's not necessary because it doesn't accomplish anything. There's controls, belts and suspenders you can put in place to make sure that TikTok is driving in the right lane.
Yeah.
So that's my view on it.
That's an interesting, because like you just said, it's not, what does it accomplish when it then does happen? And I think from my standpoint, I only watched a little bit of it, it just seemed like the questions they were asking and their lack of willingness to listen to his response seemed very like ignorant and uneducated.
Scripted.
Yeah, like they weren't even, like the questions they were asking was like, do you even know what the app does? Or it just seems like I could have created better questions.
None of them knew what the app does.
Right.
And you could tell.
Yeah, exactly. You could.
That's the problem. They should have had their staffs who are younger.
I
Show
completely
them.
agree. Right.
Do you think that much of what, and I watched, it was 5 hours. Okay, it was 5 hours. I watched the replay of it, probably 3 hours of it. And it wasn't consistent, but throughout my day, yesterday, I watched probably 3 hours of it. And I took some notes, and I
You
felt
watched
like
3 hours of this?
yeah. Well, I let it play, and I was doing my thing, but I
Yeah.
was watching. I mean,
Listen.
it wasn't the only thing that
It's committed.
I wasn't doing a lot. Well, number one, it affects us
Big time.
square in the mouth, right? This is going to help us prepare. Well, we have to prepare. You have to think about it. Put your head in the sand and say, oh, it's not going away. Bill just said he doesn't think it's going away, so we're fine.
I honestly, it would be business as usual for us. I don't think it would change.
Well, we should conduct business as usual, yes. But we should also have a strategy that would say, well, what do we do if it does change? If
Well,
the platform is different?
I think, and this has something to do with this. I think every creator should never be a one-trick pony. You should never rely on any platform or one platform to be your saving grace. So if you go viral on TikTok, and right now it is the easiest platform to go viral because they prioritize content over follower count or page, which is good and bad. But insulate yourself by starting your own community on a Discord chat or an email list or other platforms or in person. So I think what we've been doing is just been insulating ourselves in that way. But yeah, I mean, look, it would change a little bit of our outcome. It wouldn't change anything we've been doing. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this clip, be sure to check this one out right here because it's just as good or maybe even better. Cheers.